All right, ladies and gentlemen, Boxing Rush Hour Show, fights around the world. I am here with 21 and 2, 17 KOs, 29-year-old featherweight Elijah Pierce, ranked number two with the WBA and the number two with the WBO. How you doing, Elijah?
I'm doing well, man. As I often say, same shit, different toilet. We putting in that work.
Yeah. I see that. I'm gonna get straight into it because you have this fight coming up on February 28th, the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. It's gonna be on Prime Video against Lorenzo Parra, 23 1-1, 17 KOs. Looking back at this past year, what would you say are things you accomplished that you set for yourself at the top of the year, and that ended up happening? And what are some things that you felt that could have happened but didn't?
Um, well, first and foremost, I feel like a very underrated characteristic of myself that people don't really pay attention to is that one thing about Elijah Pierce is that I've always stood 10 toes on everything I've ever said. I don't. I'm sure you're familiar. I give gifts to my opponents at the weigh-ins before I fight them. And I kind of solidify the fact that I'm gonna kick your ass before I kick your ass. So it's kind of like the fact that I get a lot of backlash for doing what I set out to do every single time is kind of weird to me. But at the end of the day, I mean, it comes with the territory. I'm accepting of it. I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident in what I've been able to do. And um, literally, I've just been on a hunt for the world title. The hunt continues. That's my motto. That's what it's all been about. Trying to solidify myself as a champion and one of the best in the sport, and ultimately, most importantly, give my family, give back to my family. Take care of my children, and just further add my own little piece to the world. That's my ultimate goal. But I've taken the steps to do that. Like I said, I won a WBO International, I won a WBA Continental, actually three WBC silvers. Um, so I mean, I'm just whatever's in front of me, I'm going to continue to achieve each and every time. I mean, the only thing that, as the question you stated, as far as I didn't get to accomplish, I really wanted the NOA fight, like extremely bad. I really wanted that fight. That I feel like that's the fight that would have carried me over the threshold that I've been waiting to get to. And I'm like I said, I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what nobody thinks. Like I said, I know I've been doing this all my life. I've been doing this over 20 years, and I know I can beat him. Like I said, I get it that maybe people think or whatever they want to think is mismatch, whatever the case. Okay, that's not the first time I've been counted out. It's not the first time I've overcome adversity. It's not the first time I've been doubted. I've went through it my whole career, ever since I acquired my losses, and which those losses even came from me not being my best, not being focused in the ring, dealing with outside life, all that type of stuff. So at this point, I've won 12 fights in a row and nine of them by knockout. So, and I've beaten three world title challengers in that span of 12 fights. So if that doesn't really show my capability, then if I got to continue to beat more people, I'll beat more people. I've been asking, I've been begging for the top guys. Everybody knows me and Stephen Fulton have had beef. I've been wanting to fight with Stephen Fulton. I still believe I'll knock him out. Um, like I said, obviously, in a way, I respect in a way. I think he's a great champion, great fighter, and everything. But obviously, this is a dominating sport. This is one man versus one man. Of course, I'm not gonna acquiesce to defeat and be like, oh yeah, he's gonna beat me. No, like I believe. Oh, excuse me, my bad.
Nah, that's cool, good.
Me. Yeah. Like I said, I believe that I would knock him out. And I would beat him. And so on and so forth. Well, whoever else steps in front of me.
Gotcha. All right. Last time we spoke was August 2024, right? You had just released your children's book, The Hunt Continues.
Mhm.
Where are you with that? And have you released any more since then?
Yes. My daughter, she now has a comic book, her own personal comic book. It's called Bella's Birthright, And like I said, thank you to my dear friend Jabrina Brown. You know, she is the author and publisher of the magazine. So yeah, we're gonna continue to, grow, and everything is kind of just, slow right now. Right now, obviously, the main focal point has been boxing. So before I really dwell into a lot of the other spaces that I can, and I'm talented at, music and dance, so on and so forth. Right now I have to take care of business and focus on, accomplishing the goal.
Definitely. All right. You were supposed to originally fight Para in November. You got ill, according to some reports. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit on what happened leading up to that fight that you felt
Yeah,
ill?
I mean, simply put, it happens, man. When you're cutting weight and stuff, obviously your immune system isn't as strong, at that time. So I just end up catching, just getting sick. I don't know if it was a flu or cold, whatever the fuck it was. It told me up, and I was really sick. You know what I'm saying? And it just, ultimately, this is something I've worked for my entire career. So if I had to reschedule it, I had to, it had to be, if it had to be rescheduled, it had to be rescheduled. It's not something I liked. Like, I wasn't happy about it. I didn't get paid either. I put in 3 months of training camp, busting my ass to not get paid and have to train another 2 or 3 months just to, what I'm saying, do it again. So, it wasn't like it was a good thing for me, you
Yeah.
know. I had to go through the negative after effects just as as well as Parr did. But unfortunately, it was what it was. I got sick and I had to recover. I wasn't going to let my chances be sullied by things I couldn't control, and which was something that has happened to me before during my second loss. That's exactly how I acquired my second loss, trying to tough it out, trying to be tough because I had so many responsibilities, bills, and everything. I'm like, man, I can't if I don't pay this, I'm gonna lose my car, I'm gonna lose this and then that. And I factored all that in there, and I ended up taking the fight anyway. And I was sick, ill, very ill then, but I ended up losing. I lost the majority of the decision in that fight. So, what I'm saying, I wasn't gonna repeat the same thing. Only a fool repeats the same thing they know has negative consequences.
Yeah, no, that's what's up. I mean, you make a lot of sense there with that. And, I wish people would understand that more as they make their decisions when it comes to these fights. Let's talk about a little bit about training camp. I know that at one point when I was talking to you before, you had training camp in Vegas. And so where is camp at for this fight? And have you made any adjustments to your team or have you kept it the same?
Um, Somewhat, I guess. I mean, not really as far as the location. I mean, primarily most of the time my training camps are in Atlanta, Georgia, or in Georgia, and and then here in Oklahoma. I'm in Oklahoma as of right now.
Okay.
Like I said, my father lives here, my head coach. So, I usually train with my assistant coach. I pretty much my whole team is in Georgia. So, my assistant coach, my conditioning coach, my mid man, my like my people who like kind of advise me, my mom, which is my assistant, what I'm saying? So it's like my majority of my team is there. So I usually do the main duration of it there, and then I'll come here, and then me and my dad will game plan and we'll strategize and kind of figure out, all the logistics, portion of it.
Yeah. All right. Now I said it before. You ranked number two by the WBO, behind Brandon Figueroa. Obviously, he's got a fight on Saturday, but this fight puts you, one step closer to the title held by Rafael Espinoza. Has the WBO made any comments to you, like on what the pathway looks like for you to get that shot for them to maybe call for a mandatory?
No, I mean actually no. This fight here against Parra is a title eliminator. So
Okay.
once I beat Parra, I'll be fighting Espinoza for the WBO title for
Okay.
sure. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing with that, man. Like one thing I am respectable about. Like I do respect Espinoza. He's a great fighter. He's a tough dude, tough motherfucker for sure. And I have to be at my best. Point simple and plain. But that doesn't scare me, deter me at all. I know I can beat him. I know I can. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be a tough task, of course. You know, and anything worth having never comes easy. That's literally been my life story. Like everything I've ever had, I've had to grind for, I've had to struggle for. So this is no different. So I just only thing I'm wanting to make sure more than anything is just that I give my best and I'm able to show my best because I don't believe that anybody can beat me at my best. Truthfully.
All right, that's what's up, man. So, speaking being at your best, what happens on February 28th against Para?
Oh, devastating knockout. Devastating. Just because I mean one is because it's funny, man. Like I say, it goes back to what I was just kind of stating. Like when it comes to the gifts, it comes to the shit talk, when it comes to just everything about me, nothing has been forged, nothing has been forced, nothing is cliche, nothing is made to be like, just the entertainment spectrum. Like this is all real life, this is me, this is 110% Elijah Pierce. Everything, even my name, the W triple XLF, the Wolf Elijah Pierce. Like as far as the wolf characteristics, that's my livelihood. Family is most important to me. My pack. You know what I'm saying? The pack is only as strong as the wolf, and the wolf is only as strong as the pack. It's a quote I often use. You know what I'm saying? No matter the conditions in the wilderness, a wolf will never eat grass. That more so signifies the resilience that I have. I've overcame just about everything you could think of in boxing. Like I said, this ain't I've been low on the totem pole. I climbed up high, and I went all the way back low and had to start over after I received those two losses. Everybody ripped me off, and I came back. Look at me now. I'm a step away from the world title once again. I refuse to be defeated, and so it once again kind of signifying the whole hunt continues part. I refuse to eat grass. No, you know what I'm saying? A wolf, we want that deer, you know what I'm saying? We want that cattle, you know what I'm saying? We trying to get that. We ain't trying to settle for no little grass in the field. That's how it goes. So yeah, ultimately I'm gonna do whatever it takes to accomplish the goal, and I'm gonna get there.
That's what's up. All right, and then lastly, when this year ends, how do you see the story written for 2026 for Elijah Pierce?
Oh, Elijah Pierce will finally become champion. That's for sure. Finally become a world champion. Salute to my boy Bruce Carrington. We're pretty close friends. You know what I'm saying? He won his first world title, and I wish him all the best, man. And we've already spoken as far as unification, things like that. Once he get a title, like that's he's an actual friend, and we respect each other. Like I said, we went 1-1 in the Olympic trials
Mhm.
back in 2016. So, we feel like that would be the ultimate, that's the ultimate story right there. Beautiful story. We come back and do it as world champions, and we unify and may the best man win. We solidify that 1-1.
That's what's up, man.
So that's something we got planned in the future. So, God willing that everything works out. I end up knocking Parr out like I was supposed to, and then I'll get Espinoza, beat him, and then we'll make that happen when the time comes. But for now, I'm focused on Parra, and I'm just looking to get the next step closer.
All right. Well, listen, Elijah, I appreciate your time this morning. I wish you the best of luck on February 28th.
Oh man, I surely appreciate it, man. Till next
Thank
time.
you. All right, man.